found something in the Goblin tunnels.
We are the dwarves of Erebor. We have come to reclaim our homeland.
I offer you my help.
Like I've got a few more aches and pains and my joints hurt a little more after a long day of filming than it did when I was 21. Like Legolas in Lord of the Rings, he doesn't get a scratch, he doesn't get a cut, nothing. You know, and then you see him in this and he's like literally, he's in the sort of hand-to-hand combat with this giant wolf. I mean, I had my ballet shoes on underneath my Legolas boots at all times because I felt I needed to be closer to my inner ballet dancer.
37岁的好莱坞小生奥兰多·布鲁姆是最帅气的精灵王子，也是最迷人的海盗。2001年，他在银幕处女作《魔戒》首部曲中第一次饰演精灵王子，就凭借出众的外表和古典的气质，赢得了大批粉丝。随后，奥兰多·布鲁姆相继出演了《加勒比海盗》《特洛伊》等一系列好莱坞大片，跻身一线。2月21日，《魔戒前传：霍比特人史矛革之战》在中国公映。奥兰多·布鲁姆时隔12年再度化身精灵王子，为保护自己的族人，对抗森林中的邪恶势力，挑战拳拳到肉的硬派动作戏。
Pete said as well that he's most proud of this one. He really threw all the whistles and bells at it, and for me it was great to see Legolas come back into the story. Although, you know, he wasn't supposed to be there, of course, from the books, but it felt like it worked. It felt like we had an opportunity to play and do something fun with it, and you know, I had a good time doing it. When I read the script and understood some of the sequences that Pete was thinking for the character, I suppose one of my things was the character had played so well in Lord of the Rings, and I just really wanted to make sure that I didn't mess that up. You know what I mean? Like that he played as well, if not better, you know, for The Hobbit. He's a great character, man. I mean, you know, it was a fun character to play all that time ago, and it's an even more fun character to come back to, even if I do feel, you know, like I've got a few more aches and pains and my joints hurt a little more after a long day of filming than it did when I was 21 or whatever. But it's an awesome character, and you know, Tolkien created this world, and you know, and this character Legolas is within it is just a lot of fun. Tolkien said the elves of The Hobbit are less wise and more dangerous. And I always loved that idea. And for me, having not been, I wasn't confined, the character rather, wasn't confined to a storyline within the books. So in a way there was creative license taken by Peter and, you know, Fran and Philippa to bring him and also the character of Tauriel into the story. And I really enjoyed that because as an actor I got to play this character who I'd had this wonderful experience with, you know, in Lord of the Rings, and sort of explore who that character was and where he fit in that world that would then take him into being a part of Lord of the Rings. So, you know, it felt, it was great not to be confined, if you like, by the books in a way for this character, for my character in the story. The story, that idea of there being a connection between them sort of evolved as we were filming, and it tied in with the story that Tauriel has with the dwarf, with Fili, and you know, and it was something that played out, I thought quite well actually. It was something I was worried about, if I'm in truth, but I thought it kind of played out really well because it shows that, you know, I think Legolas is protective of his people, and of, of Tauriel being, a kind of reckless young female elf, and I think that that all played into an interesting kind of subplot storyline for the character that just drives him forward. They had to have, a reason, and there's also the father-son dynamic that's kind of complicated. So, and all of these things I think will pay off in the next movie, for my character at least.
魔戒三部曲中，精灵王子莱格拉斯是优雅的弓箭手，从不受伤。而在新片《霍比特人2》中，莱格拉斯既要保持优雅，又要手执利刃，展开激烈的肉搏战。这也是奥兰多·布鲁姆本次回归面临的最大挑战之一。
Again, the challenge was we're back with a movie that takes place prior to Lord of the Rings, and yet we're 10 years later in terms of film and what is capable and what we want to do. And so it was important to really, for me, I thought, to really kind of take that further as well, and I think that kind of came through in some of the action and the fight sequences and the way that we thought about that. And Pete had this great moment with Bolg. He wanted me to have this. This is the first time you see, like Legolas in Lord of the Rings, he doesn't get a scratch, he doesn't get a cut, nothing. And then you see him in this, and he's literally, he's in sort of hand-to-hand combat with this giant orc who's really dealing to him. And in fact, I see my own blood for the first time, and it's this moment, it's whoa, you've never seen that, because Legolas never gets a scratch. He's immortal, he's an elf, he doesn't even get injured. So that was fun for me, to play with the idea of, wow, this is, something that will never happen again potentially, or, that's that roughness and stuff. And it was something that Pete wanted to play with, and I kind of was like, well, we went through the whole trilogy of Lord of the Rings without me getting a scratch, and now we're going to get this violent moment, and I think it works, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, because in a way it's the lessons he learns here will play into the character he becomes in Lord of the Rings.
Do not think I won't kill you, dwarf.
I mean, I had my ballet shoes on underneath my Legolas boots at all times, because I felt I needed to be closer to my inner ballet dancer. The physicality of that character, the grace and ease and poise with which he kind of moves, was something that I worked very hard on for Lord of the Rings, and something that I had to come back to rethink about for The Hobbit. Because making him look kind of balletic, as you say, and graceful is much harder than it may seem, I had a very clear idea when I read The Lord of the Rings. And he's very well described. The grace and ease of movement with which Legolas carries himself is very well depicted in those books.
It is not our fight.
It is our fight.
Film has moved on. The world of film has moved on, and I think that's the sort of the responsibility of us as the creative parts of this story, and for Peter as the director even more so. But to keep it evolving and moving forward, and how we're going to keep people engaged and stuff, and I think some of those sequences that you get for Legolas, just speaking for my character, I was really happy with them. They played out really well, and all that work in front of a green screen sort of paid off, and felt like it was worth it. I remember sitting in the premiere in Los Angeles, and there was a big sort of scream and a yell when Legolas came on for the first time, and I was really worried about how he would be received in the movies. And I think that Pete has been living with these stories and in this world for so many years now, and trusting him to sort of bring it to the screen as he did. I think it works, and I'm really proud to be a part of it.